Mr. Entertainment, the creator of Hair Wars, Dion Norman talks with Hair Wars creator, Hump The Grinder. It's Dion and Hump tonight on Mr. Entertainment.
Welcome to Mr. Entertainment. I am your host, Dion Norman, and tonight we have a very, very exciting show for you today. We're talking to an iconic man. You know him as the creator of Hair Wars. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you none other than David Humphries, better known as Hump The Grinder. How you doing there, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Humping and grinding.
I know that's right.
Non-stop.
Welcome to the show, man. I appreciate it, man, for giving me some time because I know you're a very busy man. But thank you so much.
All right, I got time for you.
For sure.
Dion.
Okay, well, we want to go everywhere, but I really want to start with the hair industry. I want to go there first. Could you tell us how you started all of that?
Well, I was giving parties, in the clubs, and hair came up as a gimmick.
Right.
I was doing all kinds of different parties, hat night, big legs night, perfect booty night, and a bunch of stuff. Yeah. And hair was a thing that I wanted to do because a lot of hairstylists would come to the parties.
Right.
I had a good hair clientele. They didn't have to wake up early, so it could be any night of the week. They can hang out. For the most part. So I started in a club, different clubs, the Prima Donna, Elon, Cotton Club, or a few clubs. I was at Elon, most people remember that as the start. 1985, but really it was a little before then. It was about 82. Gotcha. I was playing around with it, and the hairstylists want to get on the stage and advertise their work. We start the party. They go do a little segment. It really wasn't a structure at that point. We were just having fun in the club.
Most definitely. Now,
these hair people had nowhere to advertise their work. Actually, they needed a platform.
Right.
They can show what they can do. And the people who go to parties always get their hair done. So it was a perfect combination.
Right. Now, I know it was a group of you guys, and you start. Where did it normally start? Like the hair shows, where did they normally start at?
You mean where? What city or what club?
I guess the clubs. I want to say they started the clubs first, right?
The clubs was, like I said, was Elon, which is the network and the truth and a bunch of names. But back then it was Club Elon right on Broadway downtown.
Gotcha.
But actually, we started before then at Prima Donna, the old Studio 54 on Cass and Bagley. They had to be about 83, 82, somewhere around there. Right. And then we went to the Cotton Club on Livernois. That was one of the best clubs the city ever had. Right. 3 clubs, 1. And we moved around. Right. But yeah, those are the 3 main ones. Then we did a Harry Tuesdays at Taboo. Taboo was right off the river downtown. For a while too. Then we went to Metro Renaissance on Greenfield. And Schoolcraft. We were there for a couple years on Wednesday night.
Yeah. Okay. So, as far as when you was doing it from the clubs, what made you take it from the clubs and you took it like to the big house, the State Theater? What made you transform from there?
I never did the State Theater. Some other people did the State Theater. I couldn't trust them. I was feeling very uncomfortable about the people down there.
Okay.
Where you couldn't touch your own money, and I can't work like that.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, I took it to the hotels for years because I was a lot of people from out of town that were traveling, and they needed a place to stay. So why not get a ballroom that's big enough, and they could still stay in the same hotel? And we go to after party. We get chartered buses, and we could take them downtown wherever we had the after parties at.
Right.
So really, it started. Well, we did in the hotels for a long time. We did Cobo Hall a couple years. Went out to Dearborn at the Ford Community and Performing Arts Center. That was the last 6 years we were there.
Right.
So we around a little bit, but we started the club thing. I mean, the hotel shows in probably 89 or 90.
Right.
And it started going. Then we went on the road after a little while after that.
That's beautiful. Can you name some of the cities that you went to with Hair Wars?
Oh man, yeah. Number one city was Los Angeles. We did
Hollywood.
Yeah, 15 years in Los Angeles, man. We did sometimes 2 or 3 shows a year. We
Wow.
also did seminars in like 25 cities. We did shows in 17. We did them in Las Vegas. We had Bally's for a while. We did San Diego,
Wow.
Oakland, San Jose,
Uh-huh.
Atlanta, New York, Columbus, Ohio. We did Flint, Grand Rapids,
All right.
Chicago, Raleigh, North Carolina, Dallas, Texas.
Whoo.
Moved around a lot. I mean, people,
Yeah.
and we always included the local people from whatever city we were going to.
Right, right.
And Detroit, of course, was on every trip.
Mm-hmm.
We pick up people here and there from other cities that want to travel with us. And, we tell them don't overdo it. Pick a few cities. Don't try to do all of them. We were doing 10 cities a year
Dude.
for like 15 years. So we stayed on the road. I
Wow.
lived on the road, basically.
Man, the road, that's where the money at. That's exactly where the money at
Yeah,
on
I
the
spent a lot of
road.
money too, though.
Huh?
It cost to travel, man. That was the thing,
Uh-huh.
Because I was going to a city like LA when I first went there. I stayed there about over 2 months
Mm-hmm.
just to study the city, meet the people I needed to meet. And that gets very expensive because I wasn't making any money at that time, going out there. I was just going out to research and then get established.
Right, right.
And all it pays off because, we did really, really good in LA.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of media coverage and, we get a lot of stuff done out there.
Man. That's
It was
that's
perfect.
that's
They couldn't do hair that good out in Hollywood, but they can do some damn skits. I mean, they got good eventually, but at first we took all of Detroit out there and blew them away, man. They had
Woo.
nothing to say. We just let them have it,
Right.
you know. And then they picked up, and some of them started traveling with us too. Some of the LA people who were
Yeah.
really good at it.
That was
And I got to give it to these hairstyles because they have budget to promote and advertise themselves.
dig.
It was not cheap, but they have to take models out of town. Put them up, hotels, fly them out to these cities that they couldn't drive to.
Right.
So it was on them, but it was good for them because a lot of them got known. They got picked up by hair companies.
Mm-hmm.
To go on Brown Brothers, be a platform artist and shows in New York and Chicago. So it was an investment for the hairstylists to get out there because they were so good, but nobody really knew them.
Right, right. Good.
So I started doing stuff like being a hair agent for some of these hairstylists, getting them gigs, and we're still doing that. We do hairstyles for these companies. We really can't show this stuff because we got these contracts,
Right.
confidentiality agreements, but they paid, some money for these fantasy hairstyles. They put them in promotional videos, and I don't know what they do with a lot of them. Museums.
The newspaper.
The hairstyles make good money off those. Like they can make about $5,000 a piece for each hairstyle.
Hey, Hump, I remember one that caught my eye, and it was the helicopter.
Oh yeah, that was our signature piece. It's still sitting around there.
How in the hell did y'all make that?
Well, let me tell you how it started. The helicopter. I was doing radio commercials on WJLB, a lot of late night commercials.
Yes.
And I had an imaginary helicopter in the commercial. Sound effects of a helicopter flying crazy. And I was shot over the noise and do the commercial in the helicopter.
Wow.
So people start asking about the helicopter. Going to the salon, hey, where's the helicopter? I said, parked on your roof. That's how I got here. Mm-hmm. So I had an artist named Todd Dixon. He asked me to draw up a helicopter and make it a hairstyle, a helicopter with a hairstyle.
Right.
And I want you to change it like every 6 months to a year. I want a new one. Mm-hmm. So for years, we came up with different helicopters, different styles of helicopters, different hairdos on them. And then Mr. Little, rest in peace, we missed that brother.
Rest in peace, Mr. Little.
Yeah, Mr. Little from the East Side, Better Fashion. He was the first one that actually made that into a hairstyle. 1991.
Wow.
And the Associated Press was at the show. It was in Southfield. Mm-hmm. They came to the show and they put it on the wire. So it went all over the world. Uh-huh. And it was like instant, success for the helicopter. So we started doing helicopter contests, like in LA. Other people just started putting helicopters together and you would start getting more intense with the motors and the lights, And then we had the flying helicopter. That was Weaving Steven out of Pittsburgh. Dude. He had a remote control, and the helicopter would fly off the head, and he would catch it. It would fly right to him from the end of the runway.
Are you serious?
Some people pulled the helicopter from it, like Pee Wee Herman, and put it in his movie, that last movie he made, the Pee Wee's Adventure or something. He had a
Yeah.
helicopter in the movie. It looked just like one of ours. And then we
Right.
went to Oprah. Oprah wanted the helicopter.
Yeah.
You know, TV shows, and when they called, they wanted a choice. So I gave them three. I sent them three helicopters,
Mm-hmm.
and the one who they liked was by Kimberly Kimball. She's out of L.A.
Right.
From
Right. Right.
Chicago, but was in L.A. She does all the black movies. She's
Yeah.
the key hairstylist for a lot of movies,
Mm-hmm.
and she got it down. And instead of putting it on a model, she put it on herself. So she
Yeah.
was guaranteed to get on Oprah.
I know that's right. So you gotta make that happen for yourself.
Right. But it was really cool and polished. It had lights, it had propellers, and it was a real nice piece.
Right. Now, I know before the pandemic hit, you were about to start a show, and are you still doing like shows now? But you like streaming them now? Like, how are you doing the
I'm
shows
not. I'm
now?
just. I'm on hold. I'm in the holding pattern.
Yeah.
We just got the weekly internet show has been going on for 8 years. That plays every week.
Right.
And we keep ourselves out there through the internet show basically. But as far as planning the show, we had everything hooked up for hair stars and hot cars.
Right.
I
Right.
had the clubs, and we were going to honor some of the people who, the street racers have been hanging out for years.
Mm-hmm.
Some we wanted to recognize them, and we had the lot set up. We was going to have all these cars out there, and
Dude.
and ask the hairstylists to incorporate car themes into their hairstyles. So a lot of hairstylists were ready. They had the car hairdos coming up. It was just about a couple months before the show was going to hit when they canceled, everything. The pandemic hit.
Yeah.
So we had everything on hold, But I've done some photo shoots of some of these car hairdos that were going to be in the show. And I guess when we fire it back up, that'd probably be the first show we do, hairstyles and hot cars.
Right. Oh wow.
All the stuff that these hairstyles been creating, and they blow your mind with the stuff that they make.
Okay. Sound like the boogie. I want to come back to Hair Wars, but I want to take you back. The era. I want to say not the era, but you were you the original DJ for the scene?
Well, regularly, as far as mixing, I was the first DJ that was mixing the records.
Okay.
Title, Nat Morris. Call him Uncle Nat.
Shout out to Uncle Nat.
Mixologist coordinator.
Right.
I was the title, but yeah, I was the first one that did mixes, and I guess it was around 1982, 83.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, and then I had to go on the Fresh Fest tour, so I had lined up a whole bunch of other DJs, and everybody pretty much got a chance to do their mixes. People like Stacy Highwax, The Wizard, Calvin Bradley, Elton Weather. It was almost everybody who was playing got a chance at least once put their mix on the scene.
Right.
They were lined up to get on, so that was a cool thing, man. Nat was working, and he had the vision that was different. He wanted to be on top of the stuff because he knew that mix was in.
Right.
DJ, and he said, "Hey, man, I want to get somebody, in the clubs." So I was in the clubs heavy. I was doing parties all the time, every day, probably pretty much working.
Which club was you at?
At that time, I think I was at Studio 54, Detroit Studio 54, because the scene dancers used to come down there on Fridays after they finished taping.
Right.
I did for a couple of years, and I did Friday for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years on Friday. And then I was, doing other stuff. I was doing private parties. I had a mobile company called Multiple Sights and Sounds. I'm glad I don't do that anymore because that was a lot of work.
Right.
We were in heavy light. We bring a disco. We bring a discotheque to your party. Even if you didn't have enough money to pay for it, sometimes I would bring it anyway.
Dude.
Balls, the lights, the strobe, and I was surround sound the room.
Yeah.
We used to about the big room. We bring about 8 Vegas, and and do the dance floor. We used to put the music on the dance floor. We didn't really put them in the corners of the room or the end of the stage. We surround those places. That's why I had to get there early, set up the lights. It was a homemade light system, man. If you seen how it looked, in the daytime, you would say, I know that's not a light show.
Right,
But
right.
because, my bases weren't tripods. They were actually wheels,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
rims.
Mm-hmm.
And I spray painted them gold. I had a friend of mine, he welded like couplings on the bottom of the rims, and I would start, I would screw my poles in that. That was the base. And when people seen us coming in, we had two wheels. We come with two rims, gold rims.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that was? That was our base. And then we put all kinds of stuff up
Oh
there.
my
It was a
God.
disrespect.
So you built some homemade stuff to make it work.
Yeah, and then people start asking. I even sold a few items. And I made some people some light shows. Not like mine because it was a lot of stuff. It was probably too heavy too. I got some heavy poles. I worked at Chrysler one summer, Jefferson Assembly Plant,
Mm-hmm.
in the department. I was in the tool crib.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought a few tools from Chrysler. One of my friends who worked at Chrysler came to a lawn party. He said, "Man, you ought to have a sign say made by Chrysler on that damn light show you got."
Right.
So they contributed to it. Because I can't control now, so long ago.
Man, I know. I know we were trying to put this show together, man, and when we were in the midst of putting it together, you were dropping some iconic stories, and you dropped one about the time at Studio 54. Can you give us a couple of them stories?
Yeah, I'll give you a couple stories. Okay. I think Thursday, but probably I think it was on I can't remember if it was Friday or Saturday, but I know earlier in the week, Morris Day came down to the studio to talk some business
Yeah.
with the owner. And I met him. The guys, I've seen him around before, but now I had a chance to meet him. And he said he had a party. I asked him to come on to my party. Hey, we open at 4 o'clock in the morning. Come on down, hang. He said, well, we got to show up in Lansing that night, but we're going to come afterwards. We're going to hang out with y'all.
Right.
I didn't really believe, they was going to come through. But when they showed up, my brother was working the door. My brother, Mark, was on the door. And when Morris Day and them came down, he didn't believe that was Morris Day in the time.
Uh-huh.
He thought they were dancers.
Right.
Impersonators, man. You couldn't tell Morris Day and Jerome and all them from, the dancers.
Right.
So my brother wouldn't let them through.
Yeah, because you had so many lookalikes at that time.
Hey, Hump, Morris Day and them can't get in, man. They're at the door. So there's some steps that lead up to the front door. I went at the bottom of the steps. I looked up and there was Morris Day. This boy looked like an album cover. They were standing there like they were posing for some kind of picture. And I said, "That's them. Let them through."
Them and the time.
Huh?
Them and the time.
The whole group came down.
Wow.
And then and when it was so cool about it, like they hung out to the end of the show, end of the party. Mm-hmm. They hung out. The lights that came on about 4 o'clock. They were still hanging, talking to people. Mm-hmm. So they really had a really good. That was a good PR move for them because they really, hung out and kicked it with everybody. Everybody wanted, it wasn't cell phones then, so they weren't taking pictures like that. But they were hanging out and kicking it with people.
Right.
And that was a really good time for them. They weren't too discouraged about, being thought of as sane dancers.
Mm-hmm.
They enjoyed Detroit just like Prince enjoyed Detroit.
Yeah.
Prince never came down. Mojo used to come down, but a lot of people didn't know who he was. But he'd be down there incognito, checking things people dancing to.
Right. Oh my God, man! Because when you started dropping them stories, I'm like, wait, hold that thought, because I wanted some of them stories on this here.
I put some on Facebook. I got a Mojo story that was funny too.
Mm-hmm.
You want to hear that one?
Yes, sir.
Because I used to open up for Mojo. I used to be his a warm-up DJ. People come to the party. They didn't come to see me. They come to see Mojo. But I was the opening act, like. So I was warming up, and so I was at the studio a lot, when he's on the air. So one night at 10 o'clock when the mothership was landing, something happened with his intro, messed up. Like the mothership crashed or something. I don't know what happened to it. But he said, I can't go on to that. I can't mess up my intro. So why don't you go on the air? I'm going to give you a character name, and I want you to go on the air for a while. Or I'm getting, tell people I'm in route. I'm in the galaxy headed to Earth. So he gave me a name of Frogman Freddy. He said, your name is Frogman Freddy, the interplanetary toad. So he's in my ear. I got one headphone on, and I'm listening to him, and I'm saying everything he's telling me. So I'm really talking Mojo, but it's my voice.
Wow.
His thoughts. I'm Frogman Freddy, acting silly because I'm hopping from water lily to water lily. You know, all this crazy stuff. I remember that part, but there was most stuff I can't remember what he was saying, but I was saying it. And he had me on for about a half an hour. So he
Okay.
had me open the phone lines and people calling that Frogman Freddy, what's up, man? Welcome to Detroit. Like I was just some new DJ, but I never went on again. It was just a 30-minute thing. But it was kind of funny though.
Yeah.
You know, the boss's son called and he told his mother's lady, Miss Gregory, was the GM at the time, and he told her that he likes Frogman Freddy and he wanted to hear him again. But
Right.
no, it's a temporary thing.
Oh wow.
So he opened up the biggest thing that Mojo did. I opened up for when he did the James Brown show.
Uh-huh.
And opening act. That was the first time I had played on the sound system that big and booming.
Yeah.
You know, and Mojo, he was late, so I was supposed to do like 9 to 10. I ended up doing an extra hour, and he did 11 to 12, and James Brown did 12 to 2.
Wow.
You got to see James Brown in action from the stage. You know how his whole band is scared of him. He spins around, points at them. The horns players are playing the drum. One of the drums went out. He had 2 drummers though. The main guy,
Right.
big dude, his drum set, something happened to it. He had to get it. He had to fix it, and the young boy was holding it down.
Right.
James kept spinning around, doing splits, pointing at people. Man, he was a trip.
Wow.
He perfection, you know.
Yeah.
Who really hears everything, and everything's got it right. You seen the movie? Oh, that's probably true.
Yeah. That look like that's straight facts. Every single thing in that movie.
That was something else. But you know, he lasted a long time. You know, I thank Mojo for a lot of opportunities. You know, that he gave me doing all his opening party. One night, more than once, we had the State Fair. It's the Mark Building.
Wow.
It was a real big like open space. And the Parliament Funkadelics came and brought a trailer. A big ass trailer, parked it right next to the stage. So that was their party house all night.
Are you serious?
Coming out there having a good time. Mojo was on the mic. I'm playing Mojo's music. I'm going off his playlist because I played when he was on. He didn't spin. I would play his music too. And he had these big security guys around the stage, and they were locked arms, so the crowd was trying to get through. He was passing out roses and stuff, you know, which he normally does. But they broke the line. Somebody broke through. Matter of fact, they went in my crate and got some albums. 20 of them. Grabbed a whole handful of my damn albums. And my boy, he's about 6'6", 250. He jumps in the crowd. He got all them back but one. Yep, I forgot that guy's name. Maurice Starr.
Okay.
I never did get that one back, but I got all the records back. Mojo, security punched him in the chest, knocked him down. He crumpled up the roses, had the mic in one hand, and his platform had broke off his shoe.
Right.
He's backing up. He got the microphone. He's still talking. He's on his knees, backing up. Had his shoe and had his. He left the roses on the floor, and he's crawling backwards. So he's telling us he had a stage manager guy. He said, "Man, my shoe. Give me a nail and a hammer." And he runs out. He goes on the stage and gets it. Goes into the dressing room trailer. Comes out with a hammer right on stage. He said, "No, man, not here."
Goodness.
He went the mic and told me to entertain him. He'll be right back.
Right.
That was a funny part, you know, because Mojo wore them platforms. That was a happening thing back then.
Right.
You know,
Right.
made him a little taller too.
Make you a little taller.
He wasn't 6'6".
Right. Like a whole foot. But I want to also go back to Hair Wars. Are there any plans like I see that she's trying to lift like a lot of things, and like in a minute we'll be able to go back to normal. Are you ready to bring us Hair Wars back?
I've been ready, man. The hairstyles are ready too.
Yeah.
When everything was canceled, everybody got full refund because hairstylists, they buy tickets to retail, so everybody makes a little money off the show.
Yeah.
I got all of them pretty much waiting too. So when the word is out, everything is clear. You know, the only thing would be slow me down, if anything, would be sponsors.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes sponsors, you know, like we having this break right now, they might come back and say, hey, you know, it's tight. We can't give you the money. We can't spend what we normally spend with you.
Mm-hmm.
But I need sponsors to keep the show going because it costs a little bit. You know, people see all the people in the room, and you know, you gotta have sponsors to offset some of them costs.
Yeah.
You know, I got a staff of like 35 people I got to pay.
Ooh.
You don't realize that many people working, but once you kind of get inside and see what they do, they're all important. You know, it used to be a staff of like 10, 15 people, but it kept growing because more people were needed for more things. And that's one thing that I try to tell promoters who want to do hair shows. I've helped out a lot of people around the country, and some of them did it right, very few. A lot of them try to cut corners because they try to ask out people that they think is not important. But it's like dominoes, man.
Yeah.
Bam, they can go down on your face like that night of the show. And you have real time, so you don't have time to fix anything. You got to roll with it.
You got to roll with it. Yep. Say take one take. Maybe
next time they'll do it the right way. They're trying, you know, not have that many people or volunteers. I don't have volunteers, man. I can't count on volunteers. I think I overpay everybody too.
Yeah.
Because that makes them want to work. And then when we go out of town, I bring 35 people out of town. I may take about 12, 15 at the most. Because I hire people in other cities to do certain things. But some people I need to have.
Yeah.
You know, they have to be, they part of the crew and they got to be there in order for the show to run right. Because, you know, we do it the right way. We have late fees. They don't come late anymore, man. But for years, it would pay $5 a person, stylists and models. And it used to be a big part of revenue. You know, now I'm mad because everybody's on time. So we don't get that late fee money anymore.
No.
It could be like 200 people late.
All right.
We had maybe 350 in the show, 200 late. That's $1,000.
Yeah. Easy money.
Well, I think the last show we might have had about 5 people late. We can't even pay the guy who collected fees his money off that.
He said the fees.
So, but they learned the lesson. You do a late fee, you get on what I call the shit list.
Right.
I used to have a report. I used to print it out, the Hair Wars report, and on the front inside left page was the list of who was on that list every month. And since going around different cities, you know, it was easy to get a whole list of people every month.
Yeah.
And some of the LA people, especially, they get their lawyers on me and all that stuff, man. But they never could sue me,
right?
Because you know the lawyers didn't understand what the deal was before they tried to sue me.
Dude.
You know, it was you know, defamation of character and all that. But y'all did that,
right?
And I put it there. So people used to get that paper and just to see who was on the shit list. I wouldn't spell it all the way out. SHI. Some old figures and symbols. T.
Right.
So anyway, that was something that people had to understand. You know, when I first went out to California, they said, "We're black people. The show ain't gonna start on time." I said, "No, the show is gonna start at 6:05."
Right.
You know, doors open at 5. We have videos, and sometimes we have magicians or whatever do the first hour where people getting their drinks and food, getting ready for the show. But at 6:05, it's showtime.
Yeah.
And our commentator, rest in peace, with Tori Pearson.
Yes.
She was really, really good. She was with me from day one.
Yeah. She was like the voice of Hair Wars.
Heck yeah, man. She's the voice. You know, she also was Braun Brothers' main voice too down in Atlanta.
Okay.
But she's from Detroit. And sometimes when shows got really busy, they used to be like 5 and 6 hair shows every Sunday. And they try to do more than one. They wouldn't start on time, so she ended up coming late to Hair Wars a few times.
Okay.
And I couldn't wait for her. I commentated until she got there.
Right.
And people, they wanted me commentating. I'm not Latoya Pearson. I used a few of her lines. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
But I'm not her. And they was like, man, too bad we had to go on early because we miss Latoya. I told her next time she does that, just go somewhere else, stay where you at.
Ooh.
But she started not booking so many shows, and
Ouch.
she was always there. And when she went out of town, everybody loved her. She
Right.
was entertaining. Definitely a treat.
Man.
Dudes be flirting with her too.
Oh my goodness. Now I remember I want to say you guys were promoting Hair Wars, and I want to say it was on the news. And I remember this gigantic like a hairstyle that was made like a basketball rim. Do you remember that? Do you recall that hairstyle?
The Pistons were at the highlight probably around 2004 because they won the
Yep.
championship in 2004. So
Yes.
we did a lot of Piston stuff.
Right, right.
Lil Woody did the one with the backboard, and he had a zipper dude unzipped it, and he pulled out a jersey and some other stuff.
Yeah,
He had stuff
it's coming
inside.
back to me. Yeah.
So yeah, Lil Willie was really good at that. He brought that style to the Apollo. We did the Apollo in New York,
Okay.
and we tore that place up, man.
Yeah.
Because New York, they were like, "Hey, we thought we knew everything. We entertainment capital. We supposed to. Where did this come from?" I said, "Y'all don't know about this one." It was hard getting New York people involved to be a part of the show, man. They were scared.
Yeah.
The New York stars, man. We had, I think, just two. The
Man, the
Purple Lady was in
Apollo.
that Chris Rock movie.
Yeah.
Her and this guy named Dave Ray, who was originally from Antigua Island. He was from New York, and everybody else came from other places.
Mm-hmm.
One girl came from San Diego. She doesn't fly, so she rented a truck, and her girls drove from San Diego to New York,
Goodness.
and came back the next year and drove to Detroit to do a show.
Yeah.
We were like road dogs, man. They're serious about their craft.
Yeah. Most definitely.
But yeah, we got a lot of media coverage. The first big one was the Wall Street Journal.
Okay.
We got on the front page of the Wall Street Journal, man. That's what
Good Lord.
drew people to us. Like Dateline NBC was the first one that jumped on it. And then we did talk show circuit, Tyra Banks, Queen Latifah, Sarah Jessica Raphael.
Yeah.
Did America's Next Top Model, Cycle 7. We did a whole episode on the Hair Wars people.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a bunch of stuff, man.
Man.
Please Believe It or Not came and did a special on us. Then they started coming from Europe. We had a team from France and Germany, and they were speaking in their language when they actually aired it,
Yeah.
So I didn't know what the hell they were saying. It was a magazine in Russia. I had to get a Russian lady from Detroit to read it for me,
Yeah.
to translate it, because I don't know any Russian.
Mm-hmm.
But, people got into it because it's a black cultural thing, and it's coming from Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And Detroit around the world has been known as, black people doing things.
Yeah.
The auto industry was going down. And that's another thing I wanted to mention, too, because a lot of straight men do hair in Detroit, where it wasn't like that in no other city in America.
Mm-hmm.
And they were wondering how these men got into the hair business. Well, when they got laid off from the plants, from making cars, the only way they started thinking about how they can make money, the same kind of money, was in the hair business. Wow. So they went to beauty school.
Uh-huh.
And they went to beauty school to, when they got laid off.
Okay.
And they speak out their careers, and they can tell their stories, too.
Yeah.
That's what the internet show I have is all about. It's called Hair Wars Around the World, the underground show. And these people tell their stories. I got over 100 interviews with hairstylists from Detroit. And they all have stories to tell about how they came up and what they did and what they're still doing.
Yeah. What days and times that you streaming live?
Well, no, it's not streaming live. It used to be live every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Detroit time, but that was really difficult because, all the different time zones.
Yeah.
Especially in Europe, our show used to come on at 7 o'clock Wednesday night, and it was already 8 o'clock Thursday morning in Japan.
Yeah.
People 6 hours behind us in Europe, like in London, and cities out there in that part of Europe. So right now it's on 24 hours a day. I got it embedded in my website.
Oh, that's beautiful. What's the website?
My website is hairwarsustour.com.
Got you.
Hair Wars US Tour. and they go on there 7 days a week and watch it every day. And a new show comes every Monday, a new episode. Sometimes I run them for 2 weeks in a row if they really are getting a lot of numbers.
Right.
I'll run for an extra week, but for the most part, it's every week a different show. And we interview stylists, and we also show a lot of highlights of their performances, different ones from different cities.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing.
Excuse me. Mm-hmm. Keep them relevant, man. You know, because these hairstyles, they work hard, and you know, a lot of them do a lot of work people don't recognize. Like Lady Gaga, when she first came out, they contacted me about getting some her hair done, hairstyles. And we did like 7 pieces for her.
Wow.
You know, her early years. So they get opportunities, you know. Some of them in the movie, like the movie called The Hair Show, they wanted me to be a part of it, but they wouldn't pay me. They were talking about exposure. I'm like, hell, y'all don't want any exposure.
No.
Y'all got a movie coming up.
Right.
I'm all right.
So they want you to be the person to show them everything, and they just want to say thank you and don't cut you a check.
It's been a lot because the girl Kimberly Kimball, I said, that went on Oprah. She ended up, they hired her to be the key stylist, and then I wouldn't let them backstage, but I let them to the show in San Diego. They drove down from LA to San Diego, about 8 of them, producers and all these people who worked on the set, and they were taking notes. I had a little section for them. And they were just writing everything. They hired a commentator. My commentator was Giorgio out of L.A.
Okay.
It's Giorgio Beverly Hills. They did hire him and put him in the movie. So he did exactly what he does at Hair Wars. And then they actually had some hairstyles that they recreated. And they made them bigger. But they were hairstyles from the show they went to.
Okay.
They did give me a credit on one of the credits roles. So that was nice. I didn't even expect that.
That's what's up. I'm glad you didn't take that. Like, you're not gonna have me give you exposure and you don't pay me for my what I'm worth, you know. And the thing is now is that you are an icon in the city of Detroit with Hair Wars, and what are the future plans for Hair Wars when we get back to normal? Because I know it's coming. I know you got something going. Like,
well, the whole thing is we're trying to get over to Europe, you know, and I'm talking to companies, and they have, you know, the companies who make money in Europe with hair products and other things. And we want to get there, man, and hit that market.
I know
we've done enough in the U.S. We still will do stuff here, but Europe is the thing we want to get to. We had TV shows planned, but the contracts weren't right. I've got about 7 or 8 contracts, man, unsigned, because you know they were gonna own me. Yeah, it's a ruthless business, man. And my brother is the lawyer, so he checks over my things. Yeah, you get that language I don't really understand as well, you know. But yeah, they were gonna own me, man. Several of them companies. And, you know, some of them were the big companies like the Fremantle, you know, big production, the Fox network. It was a bunch of independent companies who pitched shows and networks. Yeah. They were trying to get a Hair Wars. We even shot a couple of pilots. You know, a couple of them I did go with, but they didn't follow through and it didn't happen. So, right. But I say, hey, you know, we don't have to do it. If I don't do a TV show, a reality show, that's okay. Because all it's going to do is probably dilute it. And make it bad, because they want us fighting and stuff. That's why I didn't agree with all the stuff they wanted to do for the show. Right. They wanted to ruin the reputation that we have for a season or 2. Yeah. You know, it would take a lot to build it back up after they get finished with me. Right. Making millions and millions off of you. Making all that money, man. So our plans is just trying to get over to Europe, keep our show going strong, get some new generation people, man. Because a lot of these styles that I've been dealing with, they getting old, they retiring, they worn out. Yeah. They just, you know, and the new young people, we're trying to work with them. That's our focus. Number one focus is to get this new generation going, because Detroit's been known as the hair capital of the world. Exactly. And we have to continue that, because right now, I don't know if we're the hair capital right now. The older people are not as active. Yeah. You know, virus got a lot to do with that right now. But the new people, they want to be instant stars overnight. Like instant oatmeal. You can't make your star. You got to work for it. You got to earn. Right. You got stripes. And a lot of them don't understand that everything is so, you know, I got to have it now.
So anxious, not patience. Don't have no patience.
No, everything is instant.
Yes.
So we try to get some with these older styles. They want to mentor some of these younger ones. The younger ones, they want to do it their own thing for the most part. So that's something that we got to get together if we're going to continue doing the shows.
Okay.
And making some noise like the tour used to always make, you know.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Well, I ain't gonna hold you up. I just want to say thank you for the time and this opportunity, man, that you given me here. And I want to say, you need me, let me know. I'm here for you.
I want to say that you bad DJ, man.
Thank you,
You
man.
showed at the same reunion I did one that you can throw down.
Thank you, man. I learned from the best. Come on, now.
Very impressive. Huh?
That's what I learned from the best. Come on, now.
You got it going on.
Man, thank you so much.
Dion Norman.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Hump. I appreciate it. Can you tell them your website once again? We're going to put it on the screen so, people can get a chance to go to the website and check out everything that you're doing.
Yeah, Hair Wars US Tour. Hair Wars US TOUR.com. And I'm also shooting pictures, so if you need a photo shoot done, since I'm down, not doing shows right now, I opened up a studio at the Hair Wars office, and I'm shooting every week. I'm doing different people's portfolios and hairstyles and different models. So if you need to shoot, Grinder Photos 313.
Yes,
that's the new name for my photo business.
Okay, great. Thanks, Hump. I appreciate you, man.
All right, thanks for having me on the show, and keep kicking butt.
No doubt. You stay safe.
All right.
This is Mr. Entertainment, and I'm your host, Dion Norman, and we will check you out next time. Same place, same station. You know what it is. Right here on your favorite streaming devices.